Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrente a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre al app para llevarte ofertas antes del cutoff. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
Hey y'all, this is Clay Melton down in Houston, Texas, and you're listening to the Dr. Sky Experience on 77 WABC.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dr. Sky Experience, heard exclusively here on Talk Radio 77 WABC, as we like to say, the crown jewel of radio, the iconic Talk Radio station 77 WABC, out of New York, around the nation, around the world, and I'm sure out into the universe. As a regular listener of the Dr. Sky Experience, I'm sure by now you might know, and if not, our content is based primarily on science, from technology, astronomy, space, aviation, and weather. But how about this? Special guest and celebrity guest in the mix. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be introducing an amazing guest. Clay Melton, guitarist, songwriter, vocalist, and blues guitarist, joins us on the Dr. Sky Experience. How about this? Blues rock prodigies are a special breed. They live and breathe the fiery swagger of electric guitars and the irresistible allure of rhythm-soaked sounds. That's Clay Melton's music calling in a nutshell. At only 28, the Louisiana-born and Texas-based blues rocker has already spent 15 years performing live. His powerful, raspy voice and wicked guitar lift leave no doubt he's grown up in the school of barroom blues rock. Welcome to the Dr. Sky Show here in the Dr. Sky Experience. Clay, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. It's beautiful down here in Texas. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I love Texas, my friends, and as I mentioned to you off air, there's a major event for our science friends and astronomy friends, the big total solar eclipse coming on April 8th, 2024, and who knows, maybe we can all hook up and hear some of the great vibes of Clay Melton. Hey, let's get started by talking a little bit about your background. You're a young rocker and blues expert, blues musician, blues guitarist. How did you get started in this? Because if I go back in time, that means you were performing what? Right around even before the high school days. Am I correct?
Yeah. I got into Hendrix first with guitar, and then kind of a holy trinity of classic rock: Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, and Led Zeppelin, ZZ Top, and all those albums and interviews I could read or listen to from them talking about their influences and songs they would cover and stuff. Kind of informed me and pointed me in directions back through blues history. And, whenever I was graduating from playing crawfish bowls and garages with my buddies, and then moving into the live environment here, Houston has a rich, blues history and
yes,
a lot of great players that were welcoming. And I got to grow up playing on stage and learning from these mentors and players around here.
Amazing. Talk to us, because we got a lot of people out there that, young aspiring musicians and people out there with talent to grow. What's your opinion? I mean, you're a young guy, as I keep saying here. Congratulations on your success, and we look forward to seeing much more from you. But what advice do you give anybody out there who wants to get into this music business? And a little advice from you, I certainly think, would be in order.
Well, man, as a young player, what I'd like to tell people trying to become an artist or musician is get out there and play with other people as soon as possible. All your experience and practice of playing alone is compounded, and you start to learn at an accelerated rate when you're playing with other people in a live environment, and the lessons are very instant. And especially if you can surround yourself with players that are more talented than yourself, you'll learn a lot quicker. And same goes for, if you want to be in the music business and
sure,
be touring and working as a musician, then it's important to surround yourself by good team members and build a team and do as much as you can yourself with your own team, and treat the business just as seriously and as you do the music.
Talk to us a little bit about another Texas amazing musician, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Obviously passed away, way too soon. Nobody should pass like that. but your kind of love for his style of music, describe him, if you can, to this audience and the things that you want people to remember about Stevie.
Oh, wow, that's a cool question. I mean, Stevie was such a huge influence to me, and obviously had a huge part in the '80s blues resurgence, and that's in part to how much he paid homage to his own influences and heroes. I think he tried to lift them up, which is what I loved about his music, and he did so in doing it in his own voice. And if I can encourage anybody that hasn't listened to him to listen to his original music and listen to the covers that he does, and just it's so evident that when he's playing, he's putting his whole self into it and feeling it. And I think that's what blues music is about. I think that's what real rock and roll is about, is someone putting themselves completely into the music and being able to share that with a live audience specifically.
Well, Clay, as you know better, this music style is invigorating, it's powerful, and obviously it comes from a great history, a long history, as now you're part of it as you continue to grow. You're listening to the Dr. Sky Experience. Our special guest, musician Clay Melton. He's moving up in the charts, ladies and gentlemen, and you're here with me on Talk Radio 77 WABC, the crown jewel of radio, broadcasting proudly not only out of New York, around the nation, around the world, and what, Clay, I'm sure even around the universe. A little bit more background. I want to read this to the audience. It's so powerful, and you're the one who's living it. Clay's 2022 release, Live in Texas, which includes 10 original songs and one cover, was spun on more than 160 radio stations in the U.S. and abroad, and his riveting cover of ZZ Top's Jesus Just Left Chicago climbed to the #1 song in the world on the Roots Music Blues Rock chart in June 2022. Congratulations on that, brother. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I mean, obviously, I have to thank ZZ Top for allowing us to do the song and do it our own way.
Well, folks, you're about to hear a little excerpt from Jesus Just Left Chicago, here from his album, Live from Texas album, as we continue here with our very special guest, Clay Melton, whose website, you got to go there, folks. It's simply this, claymelton.com. And here we go with just an excerpt from Jesus Just Left Chicago.
Jesus just left Chicago, and he's bound for New Orleans. Well, now Jesus just left Chicago, and he's bound for New Orleans. Yeah. Working one end to the other, it all points in between. Took a jump through Mississippi, oh, muddy water turned to wine. Jump through Mississippi, oh, muddy water turned to wine. Yeah. We'll get out of California, from forest and the pines. Here we go.
Well, Clay, I thought that was amazing, man. I mean, that's just incredible. So describe the band too. I mean, obviously you're the talent in there, and many other people. Describe to us some of the other players in this band of yours and how it all comes together. I mean, it all has to work, and wow, it all sounds great to me.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, it doesn't happen without the band, and we have Zach Grindle on drums, who I've been playing with for about 9 years now. And then Zach Cox on bass, who I've known since middle school. And we played in a band in high school together, a metal band, as a matter of fact. And along with Kyle, our tour manager, who was my first bandmate on drums growing up. But so he joined about a year and a half ago. And, a lot of the songwriting happens. I'll bring in some verses and choruses and stuff, and then we'll arrange, the final arrangement together as a band in the room. And that's very much how Live in Texas happened, all written and arranged about 3 to 4 months before the recording of the show.
Wow. That's powerful stuff. And here, I'm going to read a testimonial here. You know it well. It goes like this, and I quote, "The passion and electricity surely missing in the music of many of Clay Melton's peers is abundant in the fantastic performance of Timing's Everything. It's another reason why Clay is certain to be recognized as one of this generation's guitar heroes." End quote from Richie Adams, editor-in-chief of Red Hot Rock Magazine. Hey, that's powerful stuff, my friend.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
No doubt. Yeah, thanks to Richie over there. And, Timing is Everything is an older song of ours from our first album, Burn the Ships, in 2017. And I still think that song in particular carries the energy that we bring into a lot of our songs still today.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about current things going on with Clay Melton at claymelton.com. Talk to us about Alive on a Wire. So this was released, back February 24th? Describe it to the audience because obviously as a songwriter, there's a lot of intent and meaning in these songs, not just great music.
Yeah, it's definitely the rock-forward sound of our rock and blues. And, the song got written when we were coming off of our last year's summer tour in 2022. We had been supporting Des Rocks from New York and the Bluestones out of Canada. And the tour was, fantastic. It couldn't have gone smoother. But it's about the whirlwind that tour could be, playing shows every night and then running off on the highway to the next show. And just, how exciting that can be, exhilarating and draining all at the same time. And so we came off a tour just, really feeling amped about that. And
sure.
I think if the tour had gone, there had been a couple more speed bumps along the way, maybe we wouldn't have the same attitude when we came off the tour, because when things get stopped midway, it's a different game. But we were just excited and feeling great coming off. So it's about that, and it's really kind of a precursor to what's happening this year. It's our busiest year yet on the road. And so we'll definitely be playing it and living it.
And you've got Runner coming out to us here, April 14th. Describe that. I mean, you just keep rolling them out. It's like an amazing music factory here, talking to Clay Melton. And don't forget, his website's claymelton.com.
Yeah, Runner is it's being recorded and done the same way we did Alive on a Wire. All these new songs we're recording here at my house in Houston, Texas, just in the living room and recording it ourselves. And, the luxury in that is being able to give the songs the time they deserve, being able to step away and sleep on them and, come back and recut anything if we want to, but, and just really being able to be explorative as we want. And, it's liberating being able to do everything, or as much as we can ourselves. And it's all being mixed by Sebastian Cure, who I worked with for our first couple of releases, in 2016 and, when he was living in Austin, but he's a longtime friend of our drummers, actually how we, connected. He's now living in Barranquilla, Colombia, where he's originally from. And so we're doing all that work over the internet. And it's a blessing and a key. I think also good advice for artists coming up, trying to build a team is find a producer that really gets you and knows
right.
what you want to do. Because in music, there's no rules or laws about how you have to go about making art. But there are a lot of subjective tastes. And, finding someone on your team that really gets what you want to go after sonically is, an important thing.
Well, we're proud to have Clay Melton here. And get a load of this, folks. It continues. More on his bio. Clay Melton is quickly establishing himself, obviously, as a rising star, having played world-famous venues such as Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood. And how about this? One of my favorite bands, opening for Grand Funk Railroad on the Chevrolet main stage at the State Fair of Texas. You know something? That's really an honor. They came here, that's Grand Funk, out to Arizona last year in a fall concert on a big farm. And I'll tell you something, my friend. Those people were jumping up and down, yelling and screaming and hooting and hollering. That must have been an exciting time. Talk a little bit about that experience with the Grand Funk Railroad, a classic in the world of music.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I mean, they're rock and roll royalty,
Mm-hmm.
And their show is certainly that. I mean, watching them do those songs that I grew up loving a lot. I grew up with a lot of classic rock as well as blues. yeah, it was just a dream. You know, we really loved working up there. That was at the State Fair of Texas on their Chevrolet main stage, which is about the most Texas stage I've ever seen, because it has 2 Chevrolet trucks vaulted above the stage, and you're looking at them over your head. First time you play there, you know, you're kind of checking out the rigging. It's like, man, those are some big trucks right over your head.
Yeah,
but
wow.
it was a great time. Yeah.
Wow. Tell us about this. I mean, blues is famous and popular all over the world, but what about Texas and blues? I mean, just give us a little spirit so we can squeeze it out of you. It's like something special about blues in Texas. What say you?
Well, you know, I mean, Texas geographically has so many influences coming from a lot of different places, originating from a lot of different places. And when it comes to the blues, you know, obviously Houston and Austin and Dallas have rich music histories in the blues. You know, Lightning Hopkins from down here in Houston. And I think, you know, there's a part of, you know, a lot of blues music that comes from, you know, towards the Delta has its own style. You know, obviously New Orleans and New Orleans funk has its own style that is has a lot of Delta influences, but then has, you know, your Creole influences, your Zydeco and those types of rhythms. You know, Texas is, especially Houston, you know, it's coastal. It's swampy down here, you know? And so, you know, the way that people have lived down here for years and stuff, and especially in the early influences of when recorded music started to begin to happen, I think all those factors are something that can't be ignored. But then beyond that, and especially, you know, obviously like when I was growing up, this is, you know, well after blues has been an established style coming out of Texas, but it's still rich in a lot of blues being created, a lot of blues being played, and, you know, paid with respect, you know, in the live environment. So I was just lucky to be able to be around it.
Yes, my friend. And lastly, I want to mention, you're sharing the stage with Sir Earl Toon of Kool and the Gang. We had Kool and the Gang on this program maybe another year or so ago, but wow, that's one that really is near and dear to me. Talk about that for a minute. That's pretty wild.
Mr. Sir Earl Toon is just, you know, one of the kindest souls, and supportive and real. And, you know, to be able to sit down with him, we got to spend some time together outside playing the concert. And, you know, I mean, we were up on stage playing Celebration with them, which, you know, it's wild hearing that song, you know, everywhere growing up, in every kind of movie and all that. It was really kind of a surreal moment. And it was a real pleasure. I'm grateful to play with them.
Well, Clay, let's hear a little bit of another song here that's so popular, you know, in the music charts here. We're going to hear a little bit of your rendition of Back to Blue. Here we go.
When your heart's down on the ground, you don't know what else to do. When your heart's down on the ground, your lover left you for someone new. Unwind your mind, baby, you're back to blue. As your man left you high and dry, you don't know what else to do. Pour yourself some cheap red wine, put on some Delta blues, and unwind your mind. Baby, you're back to blue. Ain't no southern voodoo, no trick that you can pull. If you gotta make do, get back to blue. And unwind your mind.
And also, obviously, that's awesome, my friends. And finally, I want to ask you, in the time permitted here, talk about the Live on a Wire tour. I mean, you're not standing still. You're in motion. Tell us about this tour, Live on a Wire tour. What do we need to know?
Yeah, we're, I'm soaking up the last couple of days at home because the rest of this year is going to be busy on the road. We're heading out April 23rd, starting the tour in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at their the Baton Rouge Blues Festival, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're heading out to the East Coast. We have a lot of dates in Virginia, Massachusetts, New York, and all those areas up there, some Rhode Island. And then basically this whole year, you know, we're on and off. When we're coming back, we're working on new recordings for the album, for the full album, and then getting back out on the road. We're going to be out your way in Phoenix this summer, Alpine, Arizona, and then in Tucson, and then we're going to be up to Chicago and back to the Northeast before the end of the year.
Absolutely, something for everybody, as WABC, of course, hails out of New York City, that great city, and those entire connecting states, and also here where we're doing this broadcast live and pre-recorded from Phoenix, Arizona, on Talk Radio 77 WABC, the crown jewel of radio, the iconic talk radio station, 77 WABC. You got the last word. What do you want to tell our listeners that's not in the question of not in the form of a question, as we conclude this interview today with you, Clay?
Hey, even if it isn't our show, go see some live music, support those touring bands. For your New York listeners, we'll be at the Iridium, which will be a pleasure, as is, Les Paul's home club up there.
Wow.
And, we'll see you on the road. All tickets are at claymelton.com/tour.
Thank you so much, Clay. Stay on the line with us as we go to our hard break here. Our very special guest, as you've been listening on the Dr. Sky Experience, up and coming, yes, blues guitarist, and so much more, vocalist and songwriter Clay Melton. His website, proud to say it here on this show, claymelton.com. Dr. Sky reminds you always remember to keep your eyes to the skies as we talk mostly in the science realms of astronomy, space, aviation, and weather. But as we bring it back down to earth, great guests from the realms of the celebrity guest, and today, our special guest, Clay Melton. Thank you so much, Clay. Godspeed to you and the band, and looking to hear some great things from you in the world of music. So thank you for being our guest today.
Thanks for having me on.